Neshama Franklin.
First I plugged you.
You plugged me. Thank you, Corey. For the first 35 years of my life, I really hated my sister. I mean, not for the whole part of my life, because there were 3 years before she showed up, and I was ruling the roost. And then she arrived as part of a trifecta of disaster. I mean, first there was her, and then our mother got a recurrence of TB and had to be sequestered. And so we were in the hands of a strict German nanny who just loved that cute little baby and didn't love me. And then I got scarlet fever and measles, one on top of the other. And when I emerged from that bout, things had changed. My hair used to be soft and curly, and now it was frizzy and snarled and tangled and angry, like my personality. And, my sister, she looked like Bambi. She had these big brown eyes and that blue vein pulsing in her forehead. And I wanted to throw something at it and watch her spurt blood, like the needle. But I restrained myself physically, but I tortured her in our mutual room by growling louder and louder and telling her terrifying stories. So, in families, the roles get divided up. So I had cornered the market on bad and brilliant. And so she was pretty and sweet and compliant and conformist, the bad girl, the good girl. And we had very little to do with each other when we were growing up, no common ground other than we both didn't like our parents, but she was so good she didn't know it then. And so when we came of age, we split. She went to Albuquerque. She had gone to college and gotten an advanced nursing degree with dyslexia. I didn't know about that. And she had bagged a doctor, a short, Jewish, Southern endocrinologist. But I went to San Francisco and got married very early, and I had the grandchildren. And oh, my parents were in love with those grandchildren. And I softened, and all of a sudden I was the good girl, she was the bad girl, because in 7 years she dumped that short Jewish endocrinologist, and then she had a kind of delayed bad girl adolescence. So you would think that we would, since we had filled each other's roles, there would be common ground, but no. But, a little more about, you don't even know her name yet, Catherine, also known as Kitty. And I love my sister now, but, and she was very beautiful, and she has an incredible aesthetic, and she likes to control things, and she's very organized. Maybe it's part of the dyslexia. She makes long, long lists of anything that might happen in the future. But, for such a controlled person, she loves wild jazz. And one of the most marked things about her are the famous Kittywhiches. Open-faced sandwiches, incredible to look at, with tasty and interesting ingredients. Now, how did we get together after, this 35-year gap? Bad things. Maybe that's why we have bad things in our lives. Deaths. The death of my father, the death of my husband. She came and supported me, psychiatric nurse, in a wonderful way. The death of our mother, whom she finally forgave, having tapped into her anger, and then softened. And then finally, the decline and fall of my crazy alcoholic son. And she brought all her tools and all her skills to the table. I mean, we sat and did the algorithms. If we do this, that might happen. If we do this, that might happen. And they all went into the toilet. There was no saving this situation. So what could she do? She could listen. That's all she could do. And so that's what she does for me. We talk every Sunday morning, and my sister, she gives me deep listening with a good heart, a kind of Kittywhich of the soul.